I want to see what Keir Starmer had to say. Oh my God. England football team cancels England flag. 2CTV. I can't be bothered with him. I cannot be bothered with him today. Simon Jordan criticises Nike. Yeah, get out of here. Let's just put Keir Starmer at the end of this search. Keir Starmer blasts hated change. Oh, that's the Sun. I can't click on the link from the Sun, man. Are you gonna make me click on the Sun? He does like his football and beer. Talk TV, even I don't love them either, but England kit. People are right to be suspicious over woke Nike changing St George's Cross. Starmer is a weasel. Let's watch this, because this is GB News calling out Starmer for pretending to be on their side.
US
That's
company
hilarious.
Nike have outraged the British public for its, quote, pointless and unnecessary reinterpretation of the St George's Cross on the England football team's new home
One
kit.
second, I'm pulling this up because we've gone to another quiet thing,
how the
man.
Americans would feel if their stars and stripes had been messed with.
Let's pull it up again.
Disgrace.
Why change it?
Absolutely.
US company Nike have outraged the British public for its, quote, pointless and unnecessary reinterpretation of the St George's Cross on the England football team's new home kit, prompting one person on social media to ask how the Americans would feel if their stars and stripes had been messed with.
An absolute disgrace.
Why change it? It's a part of England, isn't it?
Conservatives, Reform, Labour and Liberal Democrats have united to condemn Nike for its new Rainbow Cross of St George. Culture Secretary Lucy Fraser said
It's not a
fans
rainbow
should always
ever.
come first, and it's clear that this is not what fans want. Our national heritage, including St George's Cross, brings us together. Toying with it is pointless and unnecessary. A Lib Dem source told GB News it seems a bit odd to change the colours of a nation's flag on a football shirt, and it should be changed back. We're also worried that these shirts cost £125 in the middle of a cost of living crisis. Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer branded the change wrong, adding, "I'm a big football fan, I go to England games, men and women's games, and the flag is used by everybody." Speaking to the
Well, we've already proven that the flag isn't used by everybody. We'll point that out. I will prove this in a second. So I know the flag is generally not on these kits. And you have been going, if you've been going, how come you didn't notice that?
He said, "It's a unifier. It doesn't need to be changed. We just need to be proud of it. So I think they should just reconsider this and change it back. I'm not even sure they can properly explain why they thought the need to change it in the first place." Reform UK MP Lee Anderson told The Express, "The left have a nerve to ask me why I want my country back. This virtue signalling, namby-pamby, pearl-clutching woke nonsense must stop." But some online aren't convinced by the Labour leader's outrage, with one branding Starmer a weasel that will say whatever from one day to the next if he thinks it'll win him one more vote. An England football fan? Do me a favour. He probably supports whoever England are playing. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has also commented on the situation.
Obviously, I prefer the original, and my general view is that when it comes to our national flags, we shouldn't mess with them because they're a source of pride, identity, who we are, and they're perfect as they are.
GB News asked the FA for comment, and they referred us to this statement from Nike, which said, "The England 2023 home kit disrupts history with a modern take on a classic. The trim on the cuffs takes its cues from training gear worn by England's 1966 heroes, with a gradient of blue and reds topped with purple. The same colours also feature an interpretation of the flag of St George on the back of the collar." And what do the public think of this new change?
An absolute disgrace.
Don't agree with it. History and, pride and tradition. So no, I don't see why you should be changing national flag.
Terrible. Would never buy it. The shirt itself is a rip-off price-wise. So why change it?
I'm not entirely sure why they've changed it. The St George's Cross is the St George's Cross and doesn't need to be changed at all, really, does it?
They haven't changed
because
it.
it's our colours, isn't it? Yeah, so I really like it.
For GB News, I'm Joe Wilmot.
Did she say she likes it because it's our colours? Big her up. Shade Prince said, "Yo, I've never watched Talk TV like this. This is like parody." Oi, bruv. That's GB News. It's not even Talk TV. Talk TV is bad, but GB News is all the way crazy. That's all the way mad right wing. They actually invited me to go on there once. It feels like that Watch Guy's new skit. Yeah, the Paul Thorpe. Yeah, anyone watching this, go and watch my video called Islamophobic Comedy, and it's reacting to Paul Thorpe and saying he's actually hilarious. That says something like that in the title. But it's him doing a skit about the right-wing news attacking the left, but it's literally what they seem like. The thing is, right, I wanted to watch something on this that showed me the story. It showed me why we've got an issue with the flag, like why we've got an issue with the colours specifically. Because it's supposed to be, like I said, a bisexual flag or something. But nobody's saying that. So none of them are being honest. You're not being honest about what your problem is. And say, like, oh, we've got an issue with this woke flag or whatever. I'm not really hearing any of that come from them. I'm going to have to try and find one. I'm sure I saw something that said woke. Let's. I was trying to get the normal news stories. Let's go all the way for one that says woke. That'll get it out of them. No, actually, outraged by an England kit. Oh, here we go, woke. GB News again, yeah? People are right to be suspicious of a woke flag.
Nobody really cares, I care.
Here we go. And obviously GB News have got a black woman to say their right-wing madness. Let's go.
Nobody really cares, I care. But what do you think? So joining me to discuss this, I've got former Labour MP Dennis McShane and trade unionist and broadcaster Paul Embry. Right, I'm going to start with you. Dennis McShane, is it all much ado about nothing?
Well, I have to say, when I heard Keir Starmer and Rishi and somebody say the Lib Dems, Ed Davies, now a football fan, I was a bit bewildered. We've got no cops on the streets. The NHS is meltdown. You know the list better than I do, Nana. And we're talking about a tiny little thing which you have to get a micro or magnifying glass out to find on a shirt. I mean, it's not even the English flag. I'm just holding that up. Just drawn it. No, well, I don't know if you can. The English flag is a square. It stems from the battlefield. It's a square, and it's got a cross that fills the square. This thing is a long, traversal, horizontal line and a much smaller vertical one. So
let's put it back up, Dennis. We've literally got the camera on it.
I'm so sorry.
No, lower.
Here we are.
For goodness sake, you keep your hands still, Will.
Right. Trying to make the point.
There you go.
Flag of St George has, since medieval times, been a simple square and an absolutely square cross inside it. This fella is a long traversal and a very short going up and down line.
I'm glad we did that.
And honestly, I mean, I love it. That's England. I mean, we make a fuss about anything and nothing.
All right, Paul Embry, what do you think about this?
Well, I'm not terribly exercised about it, but I do understand why people might be, because the truth is, Nana, we are living through a period in this country.
Let's just be real, his shirt looks like some take on the flag as well, like a white shirt with the red line through it, but it's a very dark red line, so it's, again, a weird take on... it seems like he's doing a subliminal take on it himself.
Country where, if you like, the liberal and cultural elites are taking any opportunity they can to trash the traditions of the country, to trash the history of the country. We see it all the time. And I think people, when they see stuff like this, they are instinctively defensive. And when they see a big corporation like Nike, which is well known for, flaunting its woke credentials and pushing diversity as much as it can.
Nike, who are like one of the most corrupt companies, and I wear Nike all day, so you call me a hypocrite for this, Nike, who have all sorts of sweatshops across the world with people making their clothes and overcharge for them. Yeah, Nike are so woke, like, get out of here, man.
Down people's throats when they see Nike interfering with the national flag in this way, particularly when, and it is true that these colours are very similar to the trans colours. Now, I'm not suggesting that there is a deliberate...
Also, it's trans now. I'm pretty sure it's not. I know it's a bisexual flag, so he seems to be not misgendering, but whatever, yeah, miss something. He's definitely not really on the ball, unless I don't know, but I wanted someone to explain this to me and show this to me, but I couldn't find it anywhere.
Ploy on the part of Nike in that regard, but I think people are probably right to be a little bit suspicious about the whole thing. Look, I'm willing to give Nike the benefit of the doubt on this occasion. They say that the colours are a tribute to the training kit of the players in 1966 with the blue and the purple. And that may be true, but I do think it was silly. I think it's a silly move rather than...
Like, looking at it, I think the purple and the blue lines is something that looks kind of similar to this bisexual flag or whatever. But the different shades of red, like with one of them, the dark one on the end looking like the dark red on his shirt. So his thing looks like it is that, and I think those are supposed to be probably different shades of red that have been in their kits, or maybe different versions of the flag, I don't know, but that's not any kind of LGBT thing, right? That's 3 shades of red. No, sorry, we're going to continue this.
Than a sinister move, and if you united all of the main political parties against you, you've probably done something wrong.
You see, I don't believe that,
No, if you've united all of the political parties against you, all of those right-wing corrupt political parties that are in bed together against you, then you've done something very, very right. And that is why, and I don't mean right as in right-wing, you've done something very, very correct. And that is why I ordered one of these shirts.
Tribute to whatever, because I distinctly remember Dylan Mulvaney, which I'm pretty sure was Nike, and he, I almost said he, because they've almost done it to me now, he was promoting sports bras for women. Okay, so for me, it feels like there is, yes, okay, they may say that it's to, commemorate the players, but I don't really believe that at all. I just feel that there's more of another issue. Maybe I'm turning into one of those, what do you call those people?
Conspiracy
Not the people who make up stuff and then
conspiracy theories.
Yeah, maybe I'm turning into one of those. But it is a bit close, isn't it? Dennis was saying, am I turning into a conspiracy theorist with this?
No, not at all. It's great fun. Paul's a very young man, very fluid, active young man, but I'm old enough to watch the 1966 World Cup. You remember, that's the last time we won something. And the English team ran out in the colours of Wales, red. And I thought, what's going on? Because the Germans wore white. And, well, perhaps we were being polite to the Germans for having beaten them in the war. And we let that colour go first. So be a bit serious. The worrying thing for me is England, out of its old imperial nostalgia, gives itself the right to put 4 different national teams, or Britain does, into these tournaments. No other country does. France could, Germany, there were 2 Germanys when I was young. Why don't they have 2 teams? And I'd be a bit nervous before making a huge fuss about that.
They used to. They did. Before the fall of the Berlin Wall, there was East Germany and West Germany.
The point is, Paul, that France also incorporated Algeria and Tunisia. Now, we ought to be careful until somebody seriously asks us, why have you got the right to 4 teams of British players in these tournaments?
That's interesting. So you're saying other countries used to have countries close to them creating one team. So maybe when England started, that's why it was the Union flag, because it did represent all of the countries. And then later the other, I mean, I don't know, I'm just thinking that could be possible if you're saying there's been developments of that over the years.
So we've only got the right
but this
to
has
one.
got nothing to do with the flag, then?
No.
Well, then that's what we're talking about. So we're talking
but the
about
flag itself, you remember, Paul will remember, because he's very sound on this, when it was 20 years ago, it was the BNP and the National Front and the English Defence League that carried. Thank God we did.
We took the flag back. We didn't allow these people to weaponise it. And that's in the same vein, should we be allowing companies like Nike to make money out of it? Because that's what they're doing. They're making political capital and PR out of us talking about it, whilst also manipulating our flag and to make it not resemble our flag. That's just absurd.
I think. Look, the lesson is, if you're a big corporation and you've got the contract to do something like this, don't interfere with the national flag. That's the key thing, because you will run the risk of getting blowback, as Nike have done on this occasion. I think, actually, probably in many respects, now, the more important point was the point that the gentleman who was being interviewed by Ben outside Wembley Stadium a few minutes ago made, which was in terms of the price, the money that Nike are making from these kits. It's an absolute racket. The cheapest the cheapest you can get for a child, for a standard shirt, is £65. Now, I think that actually is a scandal. It's a racket, and it goes to the heart of the question of whether football is a working class game anymore. I remember years ago, I'm a Wolves fan, I used to get the Wolves kit each year, and it didn't cost very much at all. When you've got parents paying at least 65 quid and sometimes more for the higher quality versions of the shirt, you have to ask that question whether it's a game for working class people.
But
I think that is an absolute outrage.
Paul, as a grandfather, I can assure you that Lidl has very good English shirts for kids, and not quite the posh ones, but of course Lidl is a German-owned firm, so they're serving up the English flag.
But obviously...
But also, look, my flag is the British flag, the Union Jack. I'm born in Scotland, part Irish family.
Okay,
so
Dennis,
I'm not sure the flag of St George speaks for me.
I'm going to stop you there. I'm going to stop you there because we're running out of time, not because I didn't want to hear one of your tirades about when you were young. How much time have we got? Not that long. But yeah, should companies be manipulating this flag? I don't think actually corporations should be allowed to if they're using a national flag. I think...
So why haven't you called anyone else out who's been doing it for years? That's the interesting point, right?